Holy hell! Hi there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Today on February 18th, my parents' wedding anniversary actually, I would like to give to you guys a status report on what's been going on. I actually have power for a live stream, which thrills me. I hope everybody is doing safe right now, is doing well. It has been sub-freezing temperatures for approaching a week here in Austin, Texas. I know I'm a Chicagoan who did the Cafe Gallery open mic, but I also run Poetic License in Austin, Texas. It's now global through monthly Zoom meetings, but it has been so cold because of the Arctic storm, and power went out, and I believe we were in the first wave of people that lost power. I believe John said it was something like 1:20 in the morning, Sunday to Monday. We've had no power since, so this is day 4 with no power for us, which is why I'm wearing a hat, which is why I'm wearing one of my robes, which is why I've got lots of sleeves on, and I've been going around with double pairs of socks and everything as I've been going around. But then we started, I was like, all right, we should drip water so that there's not a problem if there is pipes that are going to freeze. And so we did that, and we started doing that, and we can't use filtered water from our refrigerator because we don't have power. But we have Brita filters, and so we were putting stuff through Brita filters, and we were saving buckets of water that way. And then a couple hours later we tried, and no water. We can't wash our faces or take a shower or flush a toilet. I will luckily say we have a big bathtub, and we decided to take a bath, and John is a man that brews beer as well, and he was working on, I don't know if it was the Enigma wine or if he was doing the Black Lodge Berry Wheat, which is, you know, an excellent cool beer, but by doing that he has to end up getting filtered water out from the tap, so he had a lot of extra water, so we used that to generate hot water for a big bath on Sunday night. Good thing we didn't flush it. Not that we're going to bathe in it or use it, but when we don't have power and we don't have running water, we can use that to flush toilets with absolutely no problem at all. And I've used it in the past for watering plants. We've used that for decades. It's been fine. And because this is a semi-arid town, it's not as if any smells from whatever was on our body in the bath is going to get into the air. It doesn't. Unlike being in Chicagoland area when you're right next to Lake Michigan. So we've got some water. We've got from John's camping days, camping supplies so that we could do dry washing of our hands and underarms and our face, and stuff for showering as well, which is really fun. I think after the first day, I thought about the fact that we were camping in Antarctica. When we were there, we had one option to camp, and I said, it's going to be absolutely miserable, but you know, you're here, you have to do it. And when we did that, we had bivy sacks, which are kind of like big baggy condoms, and that is what you try to do to cover your head at least while you were camping for the night. And I thought, wait, John, you've got a tent. Why don't we put a tent on top of our bed? So we did that, and it was greatly helpful because it kept all of our exhaling in our body heat. Yes, there was an opening. You could breathe. You wouldn't go losing air for it. And it was good for the first night, and then it got colder for the second night when it was hovering at 51, maybe 52 degrees if we had a bunch of candles lit, which I've got so many candles sitting around for when we'd sit and have dinners, which becomes during the day because we don't have lights at nighttime and we just play cards by candlelight at night. But we were just getting so cold that by the second day I'm like, this is getting really cold. And you would think heat rises. You would think that the upstairs would be warmer than the downstairs, but it is not, because heat from the ground comes up right at the bottom of the floor, on the first floor. And by the time that heat gets up toward the second floor, it's already cold. So by the third night, we said, okay, the nice thing about the tent that John got, which I'm looking at right over there next to the dining room table now, is that he had bought it with an inflatable queen size mattress, and he bought them intentionally because it fit perfectly inside of it. So yesterday evening, as we were playing cards and had candles lit everywhere, John did a lot of the work for blowing up, battery pack, but we're setting up to get the inflatable mattress in there and lots of blankets tucked in, so it would try to feel like a normal, normal bed again, if that's even possible. When we were upstairs, we have 2 cats. One cat we've had since he was a month old, Zach. He just knows us and loves us, and everyone thinks he's adorable, and it's just, happy-go-lucky guy, whatever. And in June, he will be 18. And the other cat we have is Minx, who was given to us by a woman who couldn't keep her cats any longer. And she's a couple of years younger, and she is like a short little button, and she's got this cute little high little squeak, and she's just the most adorable thing ever. But she is deathly afraid of human contact. So, since Zach knows us and is comfortable with us, and I hate to say this, in the past year his eyes have been getting worse, and I think he's nearly blind now. So we'd be up in the bed and we're like, hey, Zach, he likes to curl up with me in bed. I'm like, come on up. Come up and into the tent in the bed. And he's like, I'm just comfy here. I'm just going to lay between your legs, lay at your arms, curl up, ran my head into a pillow, something, anything. And he was having the greatest time. And so we brought that down here last night, because it'll be warmer here and possibly more bearable to sleep the night through, though I've got a hoodie on, and I eventually took my gloves off and the second pair of socks I had on while sleeping. But it was better, I think, than the night before. But I think the experience, Zach's like, I don't think I want to be in here, so we let him out. I wake up this morning and I open up the zipper, and there Zach is sitting, and then on the next piece of fabric Minx is sitting, and I'm like, ah, they wanted to be around us. even Minx, who's deathly afraid of everything, was like, I'll be human quasi-adjacent by being nearby. So it was cute, and with Zach, it's adorable to have a little time, curl up time like that with him. And so we went out this morning and looking for, is there a Sam's open, or, grocery stores. I think there was one grocery store open when we saw, and it's, of course, in Texas, it's in the H-E-B, and there were 2-hour lines of people waiting to get in. And we're just looking at each other thinking, we don't need anything that desperately. So we didn't go. And this morning we thought maybe Sam's would be open. So we go, we get in line, they say, well, we don't have any water. Because of sprinklers by regulation, we cannot be open if we can't pull that off. So we're sorry, we're going to be closed maybe for an hour, maybe we won't be able to open, we don't know. So we say, okay, as we're standing in line, and I'm standing in the do not block exit doorway just because it would be less of a draft while I'm in line outside, talking to a woman. She said, oh, the Home Depot over at this location actually has mini charcoal bricks on sale, tiny ones, which will get to higher temperatures, and we might be able to cook something more than warming soup for meals from the grill outside, because that's the way our meals have been going, because we don't have, brick. We have large bricks, but we get up to 250 degrees in an oven. Fun, which is not enough. Like, hey, and John's like, I think we've got bricks now. He's like, I'm going to see if we can cook a pizza, because we have a pizza sitting in the freezer, which is, it could be as cold as the temperature of the rest of the house, which is, I believe, right now 49 degrees. Good times, good times. And I hear on the news them saying, oh, and we've got the vast majority, or we're getting a majority of the first people who have been out of power, they now have power. And I'm like, I'm calling bullshit on that, because we're one of the first people without power. And here we sit, still really, really cold. But we're trying to manage it as best we can. I think John put up a post saying, like, well, we don't have this, I don't know if we'll have water, but since he made a beer tap for his beer, he's like, good thing that I don't need electricity for this to have the taps run, so I can at least still have beer, he's saying. So we had beer last night, and we'd have one of his wines the day before. Wolf Creek was the Cabernet Sauvignon that he makes, which is very, very, very good. It's a brand new one, and it seemed a little carbonated. which it shouldn't be. So we have one of our decanters. As you can see, I've got glassware everywhere. We have one of these decanters that we can aerate the wine, and it was such a good experience just to be able to pull out a good bottle of wine, aerate it, and then pour it into the glasses. The first one that he made, however, I think he's got a phone call, but I think he's outside. I have no idea. The first one that he made was a Riesling, German-style Riesling, and it's called Hütke Riesling, and it's actually named after his family's name on his father's side when they came from the old country, quote-unquote, because they didn't know how to spell J-U-D-T-K-A, and they said, Yatko it is. But this is actually the name that his family came with, and he said I wanted to have that for the Riesling, which is a really yummy, yummy wine. And he's enjoyed the photography that Walking Seed Brewing has had for things, including things from Falling Water, and this one has Falling Water from Frank Lloyd Wright's Villages, and this was a tree outside of our offices in Gurnee. And he loved the chocolate bonbon, which is something we made right when we got married. We started making it again. It's something you just have a little of at a time because it's like 15% alcohol. But it's been, you know, good that we'd have resources here at home already as we've been pulling this all off. And maybe he's making some cauliflower pizza right now, I think. So we went out this morning and we went to the Home Depot, which is, you know, the place where we'd go to get charcoal bricks and water. and the first days people are buying water and I'm like, how silly of them buying water. What's that about? And then when we've been out of water for a couple of days, we're like, maybe we should get some water. That might be a smart idea. What are we thinking? So anyway, we did that and we're like, we haven't even had breakfast. And John's looking around in the front of the Home Depot, and he gets a Diet Coke because, you know, they don't have coffee there. And then he finds Lenny and Larry's, the complete cookies. Like, I got a cookie for you, Janet. I'm like, you got a cookie? But he's like, no, this is a complete, it's got, you know, 10% of your fiber, plant-based. It's baked nutrition with 16 grams of protein. It even has the little label on it, because John has to be very insistent with me. It even has the little label on it that, yes, this is even vegan, Janet. And I'm walking around with my Vegetarian Planet hoodie shirt as I'm going everywhere. And my face mask is Smith's from their first album, where a soldier has it written on his head repeatedly, "Meat is murder." I don't know if people appreciate me that much in Texas when I'm doing that, but oh well. So we pulled over into the middle of a parking lot with snow everywhere in his Jeep Patriot, and we're both just, you know, eating our cookie and stuff, and another truck comes driving by and rolls down the window like, are you okay? And I've got food in my mouth. I'm like, yeah, we're okay. And we'll look up cookies, and John's like, we're eating cookies. And he's like, living the life. I thought, oh, Lord, that's the funniest thing. So yes, we were living the life by having breakfast of a chocolate chip cookie that apparently is vegan and has lots of nutrients for you. But that was our meal this morning. And so maybe we can actually have food this afternoon. But I thought, because today happens to be my parents' wedding anniversary, and because when I couldn't do Facebook live streams, I did readings at 7 o'clock, the usual startup time for the open mic, the cafe on Tuesday nights and the cafe gallery on Wednesday nights. I read a couple poems, and I will share them with you when electricity is back and I can catch up on my work, but they will come out. But I thought, since I have this live stream, I'd just talk a bit about how crazy life has been and how fun it's been, and how I'm sitting here in a robe with all of my gear. And I thought I would read with you one poem in honor of my parents' wedding anniversary, I guess. I'm just going to pull one of them out of this cc&d, Children, Churches, and Daddies literary magazine. This is a September-December 2020 issue magazine anthology, and it's called Roll the Bones. The titles of collection books and even regular issues is based on accepted writing that's within the book. And so this contains things from different magazines, and that is listed in the headers of all these sections as well. But one of them that we chose for this was Roll the Bones, and I know what Roll the Bones means. It has nothing to do with bones. I get it. But John and I recently watched the Long Way Round, A Long Way Down, A Long Way Up, these three series of motorcycle shows with Ewan McGregor and his friend Charlie, old friends that loved riding motorcycles together, and Charlie's actually quite a talented motorcyclist, and they decided to take off on these three different trips. I think the Long Way Up was one where the most recent one when they went from Ushuaia at the southern tip of South America all the way up to Los Angeles. But one of the trips they went across through parts of Siberia where they went on the Road of Bones, not the same reference to this, but they were having to try to piece together a road which was made from human labor in Russia, and so many millions of people died on it that their bones were a part of the road, which is why it was called Road of Bones. Lovely. But I think this was in Mongolia, I believe. If I look for the thing, it's a Mongolian memorial for mass genocide that was done there, that with all of these bodies, they decided to display some of them, which we can just, I've got a still from this video still. I'd have to open this up for you guys. But one of the shots, this guy right here, the spear is actually lodged in the skull. And I said, I know that Roll the Bones has absolutely nothing to do with actual bones, but this is just such a cool image that I had to be able to share it with you guys. So, and I think comments from people like my musician and writing friend Wesley Hine was like, oh, I love it, man. You know, you just show things the way they are, I guess, and how they can be. But in this issue collection book, which is the most recent issue collection book from cc&d magazine and Scarce Publications, is a poem that is titled Underground History. It is not a love poem, but it is something that is about my family, I guess, in a manner of speaking. So I hope you enjoy this poem. It's called Underground History. It was written on the 30th of November for the 1866 date. It's really tiny type on here. It's 1866. Hi, Mixie. How you doing? Who's my girl? Who's my girl? Oh, she won't even come over. She's such a scaredy cat. From the 1866 date that work began on the first U.S. underwater highway tunnel, underground highway tunnel, and that was actually in Chicago. So, representing for my people for the cafe gallery, for the cafe, I'm sharing this poem with you guys. I hope you like it. It's called Underground History. When I first took the L train into Chicago to commute every morning, I would take the Red Line along Lake Michigan for work. But in most of my years, and the only place I would ever call my home, I was taking the train from O'Hare Airport, taking the Blue Line. And all those years I took that train, I was always wondered why a small part of the train ride took me underground. But I didn't ask questions. I just took the train and never thought anything of it. I never thought of all that concrete lining our way underground. Johannes immigrated here, and later my father took over my grandfather's concrete construction company. When my father flew us to Las Vegas one year, we flew over the Hoover Dam. His only words were, "Look at all that concrete." But over 150 years ago, Chicago started work on their first underwater tunnel under the Chicago River, a tunnel which, with one lane for pedestrians and 2 lanes for horse-drawn carriages. Anyone who knows Chicago now might think this sounds ludicrous, but after the Chicago fire, people looked for more stable forms of travel, and underground, away from fire, seemed the way to go. They reversed the Chicago River a decade later, which lowered the water level, exposing the roof of the tunnel, and ships ran aground. So the federal government had to close it down for safety hazard, as a safety hazard 6 years later. So to reconstruct, they changed it and added concrete, and after streetcars ran, it was converted to the subway, the underground parts of the L train, as Chicago commuters know. a lot of construction and reconstruction existed in the Chicago rail systems, and a lot of plans were canceled. But it's cool to see that this concrete that runs through my family's veins was a part in making those underground tunnels us Chicagoans use today. Some people may say only the rural folk are grounded in the dirt of the earth and feel the roots of this land that we live on. But I beg to differ, because some city folk like me can actually feel grounded with the concrete we pour that pulls us in and literally bonds us to this land, both above ground and even below, where we'd least expect it, to make our lives more complete. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I had to share that poem. There are a few other poems that are in this collection book that relate to Chicago, things about the Chicago fire, but the thing is, they don't relate to my own family. Judging the Chicago 7, that's another one that's in here that I will share with you guys in the upcoming months. But that one actually relates to the concrete companies that my dad took over from my father, Johannes. John A. Kuypers, Johannes Albertus Kuypers. And so I thought that would be a good one to share in honor of my parents for their wedding anniversary. They stayed together till the end, till death do us part, which is beautiful. And I hope during these winter times everyone is staying safe. Oh, I probably should say, by the way, if anyone is interested, Scars Publications. Scars Publications. I don't know if cameras can see it. Their website address is scars.tv. This is an issue collection book for cc&d magazine called Roll the Bones. If you want to know about cc&d magazine, you can go to scars.tv, find the cc&d logo and click it, or you can say scars.tv/ccd. That works as well. It was founded in 1993. Another magazine used to be that's run by Scars, started in 2000. Started as an insert to CC&D in 1994. It was called Down in the Dirt. That one has come out, and people really like that name, Down in the Dirt. No matter, they're both my babies. If you want to know anything about them, you can go online to scars.tv. There are email addresses for sending submissions if you would like to be a part of this. What did one of the poet friends I've talked to recently say? One of the few underground magazines that are still there, instead of having to be stuck in things from collegiate world and what things are accepted in social norms and blah blah blah, or oh, your themes have to talk about this. And for years this has been things that we've accepted poetry from people in prison or people from Uganda to China. We had China in here recently. Anybody that can find us, and this is why we leave issue links for free online, as well as issues that anybody can order now through Amazon. We try to make it available to as many people as we possibly can. So if you want to know anything about it, you can always find out at scars, SCARS.TV. I find out about either magazine, CC&D or Down in the Dirt. This book, Roll the Bones, was just recently released, and it's available through Amazon throughout the United States, Canada, Mexico, what am I going to say here, UK, all of Europe, China even, and I believe that Australia can order it, and I think India can as well. I feel bad for my African friends who ask about it. I'm like, I'm really sorry. If you know somebody in any of these places, they can ship it to you. There's only so much I can do, but that's why I thought if I go through Amazon, as many people could get it as possible. I'm trying. I hope everybody enjoys the writing. If you want to know anything about it, you just go to scars.tv and can find out more. If you want to know more about me through that as well, you can find me on Facebook, you can find me on Twitter, you could, well, not right now because I can't get online. I'm stunned if this actually goes live. I'll be thrilled. Oh my God, I actually got internet access? I don't even have power in my home. But you find out about me and ask me anything you would like, and I'd be more than happy to help. I hope everyone is remaining safe and remaining warm. I'm sure it's colder in Chicago, but I'm sure that you at least have power in your homes, and it's not as if your house is a refrigerator like ours is right now. I hope, and there goes Mixie walking by again. She's like, I'm not coming by. I don't trust that mommy. She's going to take me hostage. But I hope everyone is remaining safe. I hope everyone is remaining creatively inclined. And keep in mind that if you think things are just getting too tough and you don't know if you can take it anymore, oh, I've had moments like that too. Even in this, I'm like, I don't know if I can take this another evening, sleeping in this cold, and it's only getting worse. Yay! Anywho, if you think that things are tough, just keep telling yourself, reminding yourself that you are not alone, that things will get better, and that you are loved. You really are. And we'll all get through this together. So you guys hang in there. And do I want one of these bottles to drink? I know it's not even noon yet, I'll bet. But, you know, these desperate times call for desperate measures. I hope everyone's doing well. No, I won't open up one now, trust me. But I hope everyone's doing well, and I look forward to talking to each and every one of you very, very soon. Thank you very, very much.